Good afternoon, everybody. This is Nanette Kennedy with Humanities Team and our monthly Power Prayer Call. We're really glad to have you here with us. And before we get started, I just want to thank Dee and Christine and uh, Garth and Tim for helping produce this call. It's something nobody could do this by themselves. It'd be just too difficult, but you guys make it easy. So thank you. And we are going to turn it over to Reverend Robert here, who will briefly introduce himself, and then we'll get started on the prayer requests.
Mm.
Robert.
Thank you, Nanette. Hello, dear ones. I am Reverend Robert Brzezinski. I'm an ordained minister with the Centers for Spiritual Living and a great fan of Humanities Team and all the wonderful work that is done through this organization. I'm so grateful you're with us, whether live right now or listening and watching to a recording. Very, very grateful that you're with us and you're supporting this community. So as Nanette said, we are going to dive right on in today because we want to get as many prayer requests acknowledged and get as much prayer work as we can on these requests throughout our time together. And I'm going to launch in. I'm going to get us started with a little bit of a centering prayer. And once we move into that, I've got a few requests in the chat box already. If you are watching on Zoom, please put your your requests in the chat box. And those watching on Facebook, put your requests in the comment box of this video. They'll get transferred over to me here in the Zoom room, and we'll make sure that we get those included as well. So if you're in a safe space and comfortable and in a place where you feel okay closing your eyes, then please join in a moment as we let go of the day. Let go of the hustle and the bustle of what came before this moment. Let go of everything it took to be in this moment and come to a place of knowing one power, one presence, one infinite intelligence that I call God. And I know this oneness as by many, many names. Some call it Buddha or Brahma or Allah, Vishnu, Kuan Yin, Source Energy, Gaia, Divine Mother, Earth, Love. No matter the name, no matter the image, no matter the icon, the oneness of life is expressing itself through and as all of life. Every expression, no one accepted, no one missing, no one absent. I recognize the power of all moving through this time, through this experience, through everyone that is here making this happen, working behind the scenes, those that are appearing to participate and showing up in order to lend their vibration to this prayer, their energetic vibration of truth to this prayer. Collectively, this experience is part of a great awakening that's happening on planet Earth right now, awakening to the magnificence of the oneness that is revealing itself, awakening to a world that works, awakening to our own human spiritual magnificence. So I'm in a place of open receptivity to allowing the divine to flow through and reveal the great and glorious truth of what's happening on the planet, what's happening for each one as they make these prayer requests this day. Open to that revelation and affirming of the great and glorious truth that it is all one, that it is all God. I launch into that by speaking a word for our own dear Christine and for her personal healing, knowing that right where Christine is right now in consciousness and in form, that God is animating her life, that God is operating as her life and bringing forth this healing of her elbow. And yes, there's the human process of moving through whatever it is that's happening. But the picture, the grand picture, is one of absolute health and healing. And so I claim for Christine a sense of recognizing that this healing is happening exactly as it must, that there is no delay in the operation of God's mind. And so we may affirm that this healing is complete and moving through itself and complete now, that there is a great healing happening within the body temple, and that all is well in Christine's body, that it is reimagining itself according to the divine blueprint of perfect health, perfect body temple. I know this same perfection is moving through the lives of everyone, and every request for a physical healing this day is all right now being activated upon. And as we move through this experience, we'll speak each name, we'll speak each desire, but we know that at the center of it all, it is all God doing the work of bringing each individual into an experience of wholeness once again. I bring our dear Dee into mind, and the request that she has for her father Ron as he moves through an experience of therapy and chemotherapy and radiation treatments for his what appears to be this disease called lung cancer. But what I know and what I affirm for Dee is the deep knowing that right now her father is being held in the strong arms of spirit, that everyone involved in his care is an operation, is an activity of God's heart, God's mind, God's creative power on the planet. And that right now I claim for Dee a deep sense of peace and knowing that Ron, her father, is moving through this experience to a greater experience of life, into a greater and greater experience of his own truth, that he is whole and complete in the mind of God, and that Dee may know this same truth, that Ron is complete in his wholeness, that there is a healing that's happening within his lungs, and whether it's spiritual healing or a chemical healing from the doctors and all of that, that the two may work together, that there is no separation. There is an absolute collaborative effort happening right now to bring forth this great healing in Ron's life. There is so much good happening in this world, in this way. So I'm grateful to know that the physical healings are being activated this day. I continue that prayer of healing for Bernadette and Kay and Elmore as they make the request through the online areas, that each one is experiencing this grand healing of God's life in whatever way, emotional life, physical life, mental life, spiritual life. Wherever and whenever there is a cry out for something new, for a sense of wholeness, then the power of God must respond. The power must respond. There can be no denial of this request for healing. I know that God's power is moving in mysterious ways, in ways I may not always understand, and still I recognize that they're happening right now, right here. So for now, I speak this word of physical healing for all that may hear, and activate that energetic vibration of God's divine blueprint for the body temple, activated right now in the hearts and the minds of everyone that hears, and everyone that believes, I know, is immediately starting the demonstration, is immediately starting that process of demonstrating and manifesting a perfect body temple. So I am grateful for that truth. Grateful to release this word into the law, knowing God's got it, knowing all is well, knowing it is good, and I let it be. I let go and I let God be God. And so it is. All right. I do see one or more in the chat box that I'll cover in our next roundabout, but I want to check in with Nanette and grab a couple of those email prayers as well. What else do we have in the queue today, Nanette?
Thank you, Reverend Robert. And that was beautiful. Little opening there you did. Janice, who is in her 40s, in a severe car accident when she was a teenager, and she is suffering from brain trauma. Our prayers.
And so I claim for Janice a deep, deep sense of knowing that regardless of the appearances, regardless of all that it has taken to be in this moment, I claim for Janice a sense of knowing that God's still right there. holding you, cradling you in the strong arms of Spirit. For what I know is I know there are no mistakes in the mind of God. God does not make mistakes. And so I know there is a great gift that Janice is being called to share with humanity through as this example of living, regardless of the limitations and the appearances, regardless of the trauma and the past. There's a great and glorious opportunity right now for Janice to be the model, to be the example of perseverance, of trust, of faith. It says, I may not always know the why and the conditions, but I may always know peace in the midst of that. It has been said that peace is not the absence of discord or confusion. Peace is the ability to know the truth in the midst of it all. And so I claim for Janice a sense of knowing the deep inner truth that she already knows within her. There's no doubt that God has planted that seed of truth within Janice, that God has revealed her truth to her, and that there is a sense and a deep sense of saying yes to the calling that God has been presenting to Janice all the way along, for she has been a divine expression of God in every moment, a divine emanation of the oneness in every moment. And now is the time for the great healing in consciousness, so Janice may utilize these gifts, may utilize the skills within her, may utilize that which she is here to share and to be on the planet. So there is a great opportunity here available right now. The opportunity to heal the past judgments of herself, of those around her, of how this happened, of God, and rest in a deep, deep knowingness that there is greatness within, and that greatness is calling to be let forth, to be shouted from the rooftops, to be shared, to be the model of trust and faith and love. All is well. I claim that truth right now for Janice, a deep sense of knowing that all is well, regardless of the appearances. And I let that be. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Robert.
Yeah.
I'll do this next one and then I'll pass it back over to you. This one is from Sheila, who happens to be a long-term supporter of Humanities Team. And she just wants you to speak very briefly on this quote that she put up, which says, how blessed we are to be here on earth at this historic time. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God.
Yes. Sheila, I stand in agreement with your affirmation. It is a blessed time to be on the planet. It is a blessed time to be on the planet, because what I know is I know that this is an expression of God's great revelatory vision. That there is a new vision being born on the planet, that the decades of prayer for a world that works for everyone, the decades of affirmation for a new reality on this planet are right now being born, are right now coming online. And in that place, I know God as that one self-existent cause that is forever taking on form and releasing that form in order to take on new form. And so in that, I recognize there is a letting go of the old ways of being, of old systems of racism and oppression, old ideas of how healthcare and education, old concepts of government and politics, old ideas are crumbling away moment by moment by moment. Before our very eyes, we get to witness this evolutionary leap that we are right in the midst of. And as all that oldness crumbles away, there is a newness, an opportunity to be a participant in the rebuilding, in the reformation, in the new revelation of a world that works for everyone, a grand vision, each one being called to bring their hearts and their hands to this mighty work of demonstrating, of manifesting a glorious vision of God's life on planet Earth and beyond. That we are each part of this magnificent transformation, that we are each on humanity's team, as we move into this new way of being, into this new sense, this new experience of human consciousness. For it starts in consciousness. And we have been doing that work for so very long, shifting the consciousness individual by individual, heartbeat by heartbeat, one moment and one experience at a time, that at this point, the form of humanity is catching up to that new consciousness. And that is the upheaval that we see. It is a good upheaval. It is heaving up all the muck and the mire, all the dirt and the sediment that has been weighing down humanity for far too long. It is heaving all of that up so it may be exposed to the light, and so there may be a new way of seeing, a new vision for human life, a new vision for humanity. That's what's happening. And I'm grateful to be witness to it. I'm grateful to be a participant in it. And I claim for each one here that hears these words, a sense and a deep sense of the sacred yes, that says, yes, I too shall serve this evolutionary leap. Yes, I too shall serve in this great and glorious moment of time. It's all about the service. And so I claim for each that sense of finding their own personal gift, their own way to say, yes, I serve, and let that be the guide. And so it is. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, thank you. All right, let's see what we've got in the chat room here. Gabriella, praying so very much. Gabriella, this one, and for all the people of Mexico as they are experiencing a natural occurrence, an occurrence where nature and the planet is truly heaving itself along the tectonic plate. So all those that have been affected in one way or another today by the earthquake in Mexico, I know, and I cast out an incredibly special blessing, because what I know is the appearance may not be of God right now. The appearance may not seem perfect right now. The appearance is utterly confusing, and I affirm and I invite each of us to affirm the deep truth that there is healing happening in Mexico right now, that all projects are safe, all people that are on the planet right in this moment are now safe from any repercussions or any aftershocks, safe from anything that may be associated with this, that there is a sense of healing moving into the region, and that as the rumbling settles down, as Earth settles down, then we may each get back to this work of doing what is now necessary to serve and support humanity in this way, in this space. For there is a rift, there is an injury to the human planet, to planet Earth, and it is in that moment that we must cast our attention to heal the injury and collectively know that we'll continue to heal all the rest. I claim for Gabriella a sense of knowing that all their personal projects, all their personal pieces of this are absolutely protected, and that there is a great awareness coming forth on the planet at this time. All is well, and all is God. And so it is. I have another one here, and then we'll come back to you, Nanette. This is for Becky and Becky's husband, Charlie. And what I know is that in this moment, we cast an energy, we start to activate that energy collectively, each one that hears these words saying yes to a healing for Charlie. As he moves through the experiences of healing his emotional body, his mental body, his physical body, his spiritual body, that there is a healing that is happening in all areas of Charlie's life right now. And so regardless of what the condition, regardless of the diagnoses, I cast that aside. And I invite Becky to join in a deep sense of knowing that right now God is on the job, and that there is a fabulous healing happening within every aspect of Charlie's body. I claim for Becky a sense of peace and this deep knowing that God's got this. That God's acting through the doctors and the nurses and the orderlies, through everyone that is involved, to bring Charlie into a state of recognizing and remembering his own wholeness and knowing that that wholeness is revealing itself. That's what's happening, is the wholeness of life is revealing itself through Charlie's experience, through Becky's experience, and I claim for both a sense of deep peace. A sense of deep peace and knowing that there is a well-being emerging in their lives right now, that there is a new way of being emerging in their lives right now, but it is life. It is life everlasting. It is life continuing. And that all that may seem like it is persistent or consistent or never ending, well, we cast all those beliefs aside, for in the mind of God all things are healed. And we tap into that knowing right now. We tap into that knowing that in this very instant we may claim and demonstrate a great healing on Charlie's behalf. And first in our own minds, first in our own consciousness, and recognizing that as Charlie aligns with this vibration, we create the vibration of healing on Charlie's behalf. And as he aligns with that vibration, as he too says yes to this mighty healing, that it is done in the mind of God. And we get to experience in the form of human. So I know, and I know we have activated that vibration right now. I claim for both Becky and Charlie a deep sense of knowing that God's got this. And there is an amazing healing that is right now happening. And so I know it is God doing the work, not I doing the work. I know it is God that's got this, and I can get out of the way and release any sense of how or when or why, and be in the mystery and the awe-inspiring mystery that is God's miracle of life, and claim it as good. And affirm this truth by saying, and so it is. All right. What do we got next, Annette?
Well, I'm finding a synchronicity here, which should come as no surprise, but I've looked at 3 different requests that all pretty much say the same thing, that they want prayers for the healing that divides, the healing of divides among peoples, and healing for the planet, people, and the earth. I think you could speak to Eileen and Carolyn as well as Marsh or Karen, and then because they're so similar. Thank you.
Absolutely. Healing the divides. I invite each one that hears these words to come into a deep sense of knowing that we truly are all one. And in that oneness, there is no division, there is no separation. There is oneness. It is through the human belief that we think we create division, and what we create is that illusion of division. We create the experience of division so that we may come back to recognize our oneness, our interconnectedness, the wholeness of life. For every aspect, every heartbeat, every furry creature, every creepy crawly creature, each human creature, we are all absolutely vital to this evolutionary process of life, to this thing called life. Absolutely vital to the evolution of humanity and to the evolution of our planet. So yes, I know that in the world of form right now, there are the appearances of divisions in so many ways. Black against white, police against this, straight against gay, this against that, and none of that is true. I claim for each one that hears these words, this sense, the vibration of just casting all of that out, casting all of that aside, calling it what it is, crap. That's a technical term. It means conditions repelling absolute prosperity. Conditions repelling absolute peace. And so I cast aside all the crap that fills my mind, that fills my social media stream, that fills my news stream. I cast all of that aside so that I may see the truth, so that I may see the one, so that I may see that interconnected web of all life, where all life is moving and having its being as God's life, where all life brings forth each individual's unique gifts and skills and talents, and together we are mighty, together we are strong, together we are one. And so I do claim a great sense of healing in the human consciousness. A healing that casts aside all that no longer serves, all the old false beliefs of better than or less than, all the value judgments around whose life or what life or this life, and going with the truth that it's all one life. It's all God's life. And so it's all perfect. And it's all my life, your life. Now there is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. That life is your life now. And I rest in that knowingness that, again, on the human level, there appears to be so much struggle and strife. And it is as we turn our consciousness towards the vision of what we desire, a vision of a world that works for everyone, a vision of a world where everyone has awakened to their spiritual magnificence, where everyone gets along because everyone knows it's all good. That the long game is the game of love. And that everything is happening exactly as it must for the highest and the best of everyone concerned. So I do speak this word for Eileen, for Carolyn, for Karen, for Marcia, for all those that may be in that place of questioning and wondering what in the world is going on. How do we go about all of this? We start where we are. We share the gift and the love that we are, and we trust that God's got this. That God is already on the job, that the power and the presence and the intelligence of the universe that is manifesting as all life is already on the job, already bringing the healing into form. And those that are called are rising up, are lending their hearts and their hands. Those that are called are saying yes to whatever it may be. Stepping up as a social worker, running for office, writing a letter, shouting from the rooftops, protesting in the streets, loving, caring, holding a hand, whatever it is, each one absolutely vital to this evolutionary leap into a new vision, a vision of a world that works for everyone, where all love is present. And all is well. And so it is.
That was beautiful, Robert. It was very beautiful.
Thank you.
Do you have?
I've got one here. Yep.
Okay.
For Devora. And Devora, I also too claim a sense of healing and a deep acceptance of the love that is within. For what I know is, I know Devora is here to be an emissary of love, to be doing the work of bringing more love into the world. Through her heart, through her hands, through her voice, through her words, through all that she is an emissary of God's great love onto this planet and a demonstration of the creative process and form. So I claim for Devora the sense of letting go of any labels, any limitations, any past hurts, any past transgressions, of letting go of everything that came before this moment. And resting in a deep, deep sense of knowing that God's on her side. That God is right now bringing forth all the parts, all the pieces, all the people, all the resources necessary for Devora to express the grand gift that she is here to give. And so there is a healing from the human conditions, and there's no denying that Devora has traversed the conditions known as PTSD, known as high blood pressure, And in this moment, we claim a complete and absolute healing in Devorah's body temple, a consciousness of wholeness that is right now being activated. And I claim for Devorah the same knowing, that same sense, that same conviction that says, I am whole, I am healed, I am God's great gift to this planet, and there is nothing that can deter me. There is nothing other than God. And I know that's operating through Devorah, and as Devorah's life right now, I claim this healing. I know it is true, and I cast this word into the law that must demonstrate and know it is done. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's what I've got in the chat box so far. Nanette, how about you?
I can keep you busy.
Right on.
The Lord's work is busy work, for sure. I've got a couple people asking for prayers for financial miracles to occur in their lives. And I'm sure that's on a lot of people's minds.
Yes. Let's dig in. Because the truth I know is that there is still only one. Never changing, always changing, yet never absent. There is only, always, ever just one. One God, one source of all that we hold valuable, all that is meaningful, one infinite supply of everything in which we place our value and everything we call meaningful. One source, one supply, one infinite wellspring that can never run dry, that is never, is always flowing into and as everyone's life. So I know at the very simplest level, there is more than enough money on this planet at this time to serve the needs of absolutely everyone in any way. It's not a matter of more money. It's not a matter of who has what. It's just totally a matter of just being open to the absolute truth that there is no limitation to the amount of good that anyone may experience. No limits. No limitation to how much good I may experience in this world. And that good is not just limited to finance, but we focus in this moment on that financial piece. Because yes, in the human world, it takes money. It takes things of value. It takes the ability to trade and barter. It takes the ability to enter into contracts of sharing wealth and resources and activities, all to bring about this thing we call the economy. And so many right now in this place of concern that the economy is damaged or dying or irreparably harmed. And the truth is, the economy's just God too. So there's no way we could kill God. There's no way that God is being harmed by any of this. Yes, there is a reformation happening. Yes, there is a transformation happening. And in it all, what I know is I know that as I stay true, as I keep my eye focused on the truth, that I am an abundant being, that there is more than enough in this world for my life, for the lives of everyone around me. As I stay true to that deep knowing that we are abundant beings and we live in a prosperous universe. There's no lack. There's no limit to how much we may have. As I stay true to that, then more and more good comes my way. Then a new demonstration opens up in my life, another flow of income, another stream of prosperity. I claim for each that you're hearing these words, a consciousness of total and complete financial opulence. Allow that vibration to rise up within. Total financial opulence. The ability to just do whatever is necessary, whatever is calling, whatever is aligned with this great vision of God's life on for humanity on planet Earth. This is not an excess of golden toilets and excessive amounts. This is the experience of knowing that absolutely the right amount is coming in, of money, of finances, of all of it, of everything is coming into my life exactly as it's necessary. So I claim for each that deep sense of knowing and resting, that as the need appears, the means is made visible. That what's in my life is necessary and what's not in my life is not. To live in a place of knowing and faith and trust that as I do the work that is mine to do, as I stand and express my authentic self, as I do what I am called to do, show up where I am called to show up, serve in the way that I am called to serve, that I am rewarded greatly, financially and otherwise. I claim for each that is feeling that sense of stress and question and concern and worry around finances. Where is it going to come from? How's it going to get paid? I claim for each a sense of letting go of the worry. For that is a prayer for the things we do not want, and staying focused on the prayer of what we do want. A healthy bank account where I give and I serve and I tithe and I contribute. A sense of value for what is coming into my life, and a sense of knowing that I am providing great value to those around me and in my world. A world where the compensation for the work is just and equitable and fair. A world where men and women are paid accordingly, not according to their gender or perceived gender. A world where everyone is rewarded greatly for giving and sharing of their gifts and their talents freely. I know there is more than enough for everyone. So I claim for everyone that hears these words a sense of knowing they are enough, they have enough, and there will always be enough. For God is all and always enough. And so it is. Amen. Bring it on.
Are you speaking to me, Robert?
Yes, and okay. God.
Oh, and God, yes. Yes, thank you. This is from Chris, who would like prayers for humans around the globe to honor and preserve the earth and all life on it.
Yes. And so, yes, Chris, yes. What I recognize is that the answer to the prayer is in the request itself, is in this affirmation, that there is an honoring of all life on planet Earth, that there is an honoring of planet Earth as its own life, as a divine expression of God's life. And that's the absolute truth. Planet Earth, everyone upon it, we are each divine expressions of God's life, the one life. And so I do claim for each a deep sense of reverence, a deep sense of the sacredness that is planet Earth, and that it is our connection with each, with all. We are right now in history, in this moment, in this exact second, in the midst of a great remembrance that life matters. That black lives matter, that brown lives matter, that white lives matter, that yellow lives matter, that blue lives matter, that alien lives matter, that all of it. And in each day, we claim this truth of knowing that our prayer work is placed in the place where our heart most needs to see the healing. And so for Chris, I claim that sense of knowing in your heart that the earth is being healed right now, that we are not traveling downward, down a slope, but we are spiraling up through into a new experience of life. And as that's happening for planet Earth, it's happening for all the systems, all the life forms, all the aspects of God's life. Spiraling upward into a new way of being, into a new consciousness, into a new expression of humanity, where everyone is valued, where everyone is recognized as valuable, and where all things are moving in concert to reveal this great and glorious vision of God's life, the one life. Honor, respect, love. I claim for all the sense of loving planet Earth, of loving our brothers and sisters, of loving life. And in that, all is well. And I let it be. And so it is. Ooh. So there's this experience in church when you close your eyes to pray and you open them again and there's more people in the room. And just in that experience of closing my eyes in prayer, we've got a really good one, a few here in the chat box. So give me a quick second to check into on these. Mary Ellen sending blessings from all of Southern California. Yes, Mary Ellen, will include this in my next prayer here. Simply expressing as a way to support others and reassure myself. Yes, that is absolutely true, Mary Ellen. We are in that. I'm going to include a couple of people here in this next one. LaClayman, and yes, we'll pray for Jan, John, and Chantel for their healings, both on the earthly realm and mental and spiritual bodies, and love and light to you. And Lisa for inner peace. See, what I know is I know all of this is exactly that, the call for peace. The call to know that at the very center of it all, there is a power for good. A power for good that I call God, operating as all of life. This power for good that I call God is operating through and as the lives of everyone on this call, everyone making a request, everyone that remaining silent and just listening in, everyone that hears this at a later time, everyone that catches this broadcast a decade from now on some ancient hard drive and has no idea what's going on. All of that is God expressing itself into the planet, onto the planet. And so I know that's happening as LaClayma's life, as Lisa's life, as Mary Ellen's life, and as the life of Jane and John and Chantel, that there is so much love in the world. And it is love that sparks it all. A love for ourselves, a love for the experience that's happening in our lives, a love for everyone. So I claim for each one listening and each one requesting these prayers, that a deep knowing that everything's happening just as it must, to bring forth our businesses, to bring forth our work in the world, to shift away from what's no longer serving, shifting into a deeper sense of knowing that everything's happening just as it must. There is a great healing everywhere. And we are experiencing a new way of being on the planet right now. So it is absolutely necessary for each one of us to experience the breakdown of the old and the replacement of the new. We are in our own ways, in our own forms, in our own opportunities. And whether it's large or small, it's all the same in God's mind. We are experiencing the breakdown of old experiences to bring forth the new. So I claim that for Mary Ellen, a sense of knowing that she is moving her life into a way, into a vibration that better serves humanity and humanity's evolution, and therefore realizing that she is served in return. A sense of knowing that all personal injuries are healed in this moment. We move through into that experience of claiming a sense of healing for the physical, but also for the mental and the emotional and the spiritual bodies of everyone that makes a request, everyone that speaks, has their word spoken or shared in any way. See, there is so much good in the world. And I claim for each one that hears these words a sense of seeing that And anywhere you may be faced with something that appears unlike God's great love, anywhere you may be experiencing separation or distortion or attack or condemnation, turn away from the negative, turn away from the darkness and face the light. Turn towards the light and affirm the good, and watch as the falsehoods, as the fakeness dissipates and dissolves into the nothingness from whence it came. There is no truth in the discord that we are witnessing in the moment. There's a great calling for healing, yes, but we can turn away from the division. We can turn away from the attack and the accusation and the violence and turn to the love and know that God's on the job, that God's doing this everywhere, every moment, and all is well. So I am grateful. Grateful for each one making these requests, grateful for all the good in the world, grateful to know God's got this. I let God be God. And so it is.
It was very nice.
Thank you.
Brought tears to my eyes.
Thank you. Any more on your side than that?
Yes, I have one here. This is from Sister Lynn, who says, I pray for health, healing, and well-being of my mother, sisters, and brothers who are all sick. I pray for the eternal repose of the soul of my parents, sisters, and brothers. And I would appreciate prayers for guidance and wisdom.
Yes. And so again, for dear Sister Lynn, I hear the prayer being answered by the very request of it all. A deep sense of knowing that the eternal soul of everyone is safe in the arms of God. That there is the great wisdom within God, and we may turn to that wisdom, to that guidance at any moment, that in any moment we make the call for prayer, that we make the sincere request for insight and wisdom and knowledge, for connection and compassionate communion with God, and the answer is absolutely yes, every time, every moment. So I claim for Sister Lynn that opportunity to turn within and to hear the voice of God as comfort, as love, revealing the truth of her calling on this planet, revealing the truth of the lives of her family, her mother and father, brothers and sisters. And I claim for Lynn the sense of peace that comes with knowing that life truly is eternal. I affirm the eternality of life, knowing that as anyone on this planet that is letting go of the body temple is moving into a new state of being, the soul is absolutely eternal and allows the self to discard the body temple as it no longer serves and move into a greater level of service to human consciousness, and move into a greater experience of soul consciousness, of the Christ consciousness. And so, while I would never celebrate the passing of a body or the passing of a soul to the next dimension, I honor each one's choice to say yes to that greater sense of service, to moving into the next great realm, the next great dimension of livingness that is beyond the perception of the human. And so I do claim peace. And I also claim guidance, and I claim for Lynn a deep sense of knowing that God's right there, as near as the very next breath, ready to answer every question, ready to fulfill every prayer. For that is the activity of the one. That is the absolute truth of the one. So with peace and love and a deep sense of well-being, I just say thank you for this opportunity, and I know it is done. I know God's got this, and I let it be. And so it is. All right, here's a good one. For Carol, 80 days of quarantine in Albania and has arrived in the United States. I honor and I celebrate and I uplift this experience, this new step in Carol's life. And knowing that this great win, this great celebration continues. For it is now here that I know Carol has an opportunity to rest, to rejuvenate, to heal, and then take that next step to be reunited with her husband in Trinidad. I know there is a healing happening in his lungs right now. I know he is in that the apparent separation in the physical realm is not the same as any sense of separation in the spiritual realm. So I claim for Carol a sense of knowing that she is right now forever connected to her husband, connected through the vibrational pathways of God, through the intuitive knowingness, through that absolute sense of oneness. I claim for Carol a deep knowing that all is happening just as it must and everything is happening perfectly. I claim for Carol a sense of celebrating the wins and looking beyond anything that appears other than a win, other than progress. Day by day, moment by moment, progressing step by step through everything necessary to experience this great reunion. I send a blessing, I send a word, and I know God's on the job here. So I claim for Carol that same sense of knowing, that sense of peace that says, God's got this. God's got this. And I shall serve as I am called. And so it is. Thank you, Carol, for that request. All right. Nanette, I think we might have time for one or two more.
Yes, I agree. Do you want me to give you one? Or
if you've got one, yeah, let's do that.
Okay. This is from Janet. Thank you for praying for my partner, Rich. He finds the courage, strength, and means to face and overcome his addictions, and that our family be safe and blessed with the most benevolent outcome for the repurchasing of our home. May we also pray for a happy, healthy, safe, and peaceful world of love, equality, and freedom for all.
Yes. So I speak a word for Janet. I claim for her all of this and so much more. I claim for her a sense of knowing that Rich is right now, that her husband Rich is right now in the process of letting go of those old addictions, of stepping into a new way of being, of healing the body temple, the mental body, the emotional body, the spiritual body, of all that appears to be an addiction. I claim for Rich a sense of letting go of all the judgments, all the accusations, all the crap and the muck and the mire that empowers any sense of addiction. I claim for Rich a sense of knowing that he is right now free of all of that, safe from all of that. I claim for Janet that same sense of safety for her family as they move through this experience of repurchasing a home, of re-inhabiting the domicile, the perfect living conditions. I claim for each a deep sense of knowing that no matter what the labels, no matter what the experience has been, it has been. And it need not be repeated. We are in no way bound to repeat the behavior of the past, for principle is not bound by precedent. The principles upon which we live our life are not bound by the way we have used them in the past. And we may use these principles, affirmative prayer, treatment, meditation, visioning, journaling, all of our spiritual practices. We may use the principles of universal law to create newly, to create completely different lives right now, beginning in this moment right now. So I claim for Janet, I claim for Rich, a sense of visioning, a sense of envisioning the life they truly desire. A life free of addiction, a life of safety, a life where the world works for everyone, a life where all are connected and together in this thing called love and light. I claim for Rich and I claim for Janet and for everyone that can hear these words. The sense of knowing that the change you desire is as close as the very next breath. as close as the very next word, as close as the very next prayer. And we together are creating life newly. And so I am so filled with an absolute huge sense of gratitude for all that has been revealed here this day. Grateful to know that any prayers not heard or spoken in this time are heard and spoken in the mind of God, that they are still being answered, for it is not I doing this work, it is God doing this work. By the simple act of typing out the request, of writing down the request, of even thinking of a prayer request, we activate the mind and the heart and the creative process of God that must fulfill that prayer, that must demonstrate according to our own beliefs. So it is not I doing this work, it is God doing this work, and I am grateful to know that the work shall never end. It continues again and again and again, that all prayers are being lifted up and all prayers are being answered, and it could be no other way. It could be no other way. Either one prayer is answered and all prayers are answered. So everywhere that a word, a desire, a prayer is lifted up with a sincere heart, with a firm belief and sense of faith and trust and assurance that God's got it and God's going to demonstrate it, then it is done. And so I release all of this. I release this experience. I release this word. I release any question about what, how, or when, or why any of this comes into form. I let go of all of that and place my absolute faith in the deep knowingness that God's got this. I cast this word into the law that must demonstrate, and rest knowing that it is done in the mind of God, so it is moving into form and I can get out of the way and let it be. And if any word of this past hour has resonated in any way, please join me in an affirmation of truth as we say together, and so it is. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have done it again, dear ones. We have...
I will forward you the ones we didn't get to.
Yes, please. I look forward to those. And again, folks, if we didn't get to your prayer here today, I will be adding those to my prayer book, to my prayer work. We'll make sure that I get a prayer spoken on your behalf, and that you will trust, be in that place of trust and faith, that you will see a demonstration. Real quick, if you'd like to connect with me a little bit further, I've put a, I put it in there to all panelists. Let me do that again to all panelists and attendees. Sorry about that. The best way to catch up with me is on Facebook, and you can find me there at facebook.com/RobertBRZ, or you can look up my website, visit my website, revbriz.com. Either one, you'll find me, and I'm more than happy to connect with you and pray with you. And please, 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 this is the moment, more now than ever. We are all on humanity's team. We are all making the shift in consciousness and in form, and I want to invite you to support, financially support humanity's team in whatever way feels appropriate. And if it's not financial, then support them in other ways. Write to any of these dear people, Nanette or Christine or Dee or myself, Tim, Garth, any of the people involved are more than happy to help you find a way to be able to give your gifts and your talents in service to this great evolutionary process we're in. So I love being a part of it. Thank you so much for having me again this month, everyone. We'll see you again next month.
Thank you, Reverend Robert. And it'll be July 29th the next time we meet. And we'll see you all then. Thank you, everybody.
Peace and blessings.